What is up, guys? Welcome back to RGBtv. I'm Jonathan, here with Andy, and we are proud to bring you our review of Avengers Endgame. So today we're going to be talking about Avengers Endgame. This beginning part's going to be spoiler free. We'll let you guys know when the spoilers begin so you guys can skip ahead if you have not seen the movie yet. So, Andy.
Yes, Jonathan.
Avengers Endgame.
Avengers Endgame. The time.
It's time.
It has arrived.
11 years in the making.
Dude, 11 years in the making, for real. What a journey we've all taken on this Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yes, and it finally comes to the end game, so to speak.
Aptly named.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I have problems with it, which we'll get to in the spoiler section, but I thought it was great.
Did you? Okay, you know what? I gotta say, what a terrible movie, dude. Talk about the worst movie. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly.
Of all time.
Okay, well, going into this movie, I can't say. Well, you know what? Honestly, Marvel at this point has earned my trust with their films. They've had their near misses with along the way, some bumps along the way and on the road, but
Iron Man 3.
Yeah, like I said, some bumps along the way, but most of those are in the solo movies for some of the weaker characters. But as far as Avengers films and as far as the team up films have as far as they go, they haven't let us down yet, I don't think. So coming into this, my expectations were pretty high, I gotta say, and
I was trying to calm my hype because my hype was out of control. I was like super hyped up and I did not want to be disappointed. So I was trying to what is it? Quench my, or whatever. Qualm.
Qualm? No, qualm. No, you were trying to.
I'm trying to control my hype.
Of course.
But even then, I went in and I left completely. It was a satisfying conclusion.
Absolutely.
To the 11 years of this Marvel Cinematic Universe.
People might say, "Oh, it's a bit predictable." Some of the theories that people came up with. Okay, yeah, like I'll give him that, predictable, but I wouldn't say predictable in a bad way. I'd say like it's just kind of the logical, way that they could go about solving this, solving the issue of where the last movie left us off, basically. And I don't think that detracted from the movie at all.
It has a lot more serious moments than other Marvel movies due to the situation that the last movie presented us with, and I thought the acting was spot on. I thought everyone acted great. I think Robert Downey Jr. did fantastic.
Of course, MVP right there.
He was probably like the better of the actors of the movie. His performance was
him alone though. Here's the thing: they've all grown into these roles at this point. Like it's been a literal journey that all these characters have gone on. Some of them have hopped on a little later than the rest along the way, but still we have this emotional attachment to them, and the casting that they've done from pretty much all of these characters is spot on. There isn't a single hero in the Avengers that I could say, this actor, he doesn't pull it off. He does, they're all spot on, and they're all so comfortable in the roles at this point that we see them as those characters. Robert Downey is Iron Man at this point. Chris Evans is he is Captain America at this point. As far as actors go, those are obviously the top two in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say the acting was fantastic. Special effects fantastic. Obviously,
the visual effects were spot on.
Yeah.
Big time.
Disney has mastered the art of de-aging at this point.
I thought the best de-aging was Captain Marvel with Samuel L. Jackson, to the point where I didn't even notice him.
Oh yeah.
But this movie was probably the second best. Very great visual effects, fantastic acting. The set pieces were amazing.
Yeah.
Even though it was 3 hours long, to me, it didn't feel like 3 hours long. Mm-hmm. Even though some people might say that there was issues with the pacing, I'd say not really. I think the issues with the pacing, because it was slow like the first hour, it was necessary for the to give us the status of the world after the snap.
Right.
And how the characters are dealing with it and everything. And once it picked up, it was awesome. But
Yeah.
I thought the slowness was necessary, and it worked well. And the movie did not. It felt a lot shorter to me than 3 hours. I wanted more.
I agree 100%. So let's go into. Let's just go into. You can't even talk about this movie without talking spoilers. It's nearly impossible. I mean, you can, but who wants to do that? No.
Spoiler warning: we're about to go into spoilers. If you have not seen the movie, what the hell are you waiting for, dude? Shut this off right now.
You fool!
Right now.
So okay.
Spoiler talk time.
So let's talk how the movie started. So we start with Hawkeye and his family having a lovely little picnic out at their isolated home that they have, this ranch.
Yes.
He's training his daughter using the bow. Wife's cooking hot dogs, and then you just know what's coming at this point.
You know it.
You absolutely know what's going to come, and from there we roll to the Marvel credits, and basically what I thought. What most of us thought the movie was going to be, that the lead up to let's go kill Thanos. All of that happens in the first five minutes of the movie.
I thought the movie was gonna be like, okay, the whole movie is gonna be them trying to find Thanos.
Yeah.
Maybe you're traveling the galaxy, fighting some bad guys here and there. Finally, they confront Thanos. They steal back the gauntlet. Bring everyone back, kill Thanos. No,
right.
That was first 5 minutes of the movie.
So they basically they big time threw a curveball. Yeah. With the intro of the film, like I said, most people probably thought it would be, the runtime would be we got to locate Thanos. So Thanos is hiding in his Shrek swamp somewhere, and we have to locate him, and it's gonna end with Captain Marvel punching him in the face, a single punch, and that'll be the end.
One punch Marvel,
one punch Captain. But no, they completely turned those expectations on our head, and
and not in the horrible Rian Johnson way.
They subvert expectations properly.
The proper way.
Okay, and it's like first 5 minutes, Captain Marvel showed. First Iron Man and Gamora are in their ship. Iron Man is literally on the verge of death on this ship, looking skeletal. And then out of nowhere, Captain Marvel comes. All right, let's speed this plot along. We're gonna carry you out to the Avengers. Next thing you know, they're all reunited. And then, where's Thanos? Oh, I know where he is. Oh, well, let's go kill him. They show up. He's like, I used the stones to destroy the stones, and Thanos gets his head chopped off.
Yeah, in comes Thor with a...
Literally, okay, it goes from Cap going, let's kill this son of a beep, and then dun. Next thing you know, Thanos, aka Shrek, is out picking fruit from his garden in his swamp. The Avengers show up and he's like, "Get out of my swamp!" And then, Captain Marvel comes in, gets him in a chokehold. And then freaking Thor comes in, decapitates him. I went for the head. Cut to black. I thought, credits were gonna roll or something. No, and then it throws that major curveball. But yeah, once that 5 years later, title pops up, I'm like, I have no idea where this movie's going.
I know. And that was where the kind of the slower parts started of the character development and what are these characters doing and how have they been reacting.
Yeah.
And then fast forward an hour from there, and then we get to the main plot. Mm-hmm. So Master Splinter comes out of the sewers and he releases...
Master Splinter.
He releases Ant-Man.
Oh, of course.
From the van.
I thought that was Mickey Mouse.
It could have been. Oh,
that was
true.
The hand
Mickey
of
Mouse,
Mickey himself.
Dude.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, first of all, the events of the movie are set into motion by a rat. I'm going to say a mouse for these purposes.
It was a big thing. Had that rat not released Ant-Man, screwed.
The world, Spider-Man stays dead.
Yeah.
Tony Stark goes on to raise a happy family, but that would be who wants to see that, right? No one wants to see that. Tony Stark living. Well, let's talk a little bit about the structure of the film, because I've heard people complain, like, obviously it is a slow burn. There is significantly less action in this movie than there was, I'd say, overall. Or at least not as well parsed out throughout the film.
That's true.
As there was in like Infinity War or even past Avengers movies.
Yeah.
But so the structure, obviously it's a 3-hour film. So the way I view it is, first hour is basically just like a introduction to the new world that the Avengers have. Basically the aftermath of the Thanos snap. right?
Yeah.
So we see
maybe
what
like the
came
first
of it.
hour.
Yeah, the first hour. We get reintroduced to the characters in their new environment, how they've faced the trauma of, you know, basically surviving the end of the world, losing loved ones. That's the first act. And, you know, Ant-Man introducing the idea of, you know, of traveling back in time to undo what was done. Tony Stark is all like, you know what, no, time travel, it's laughable. 5 seconds later, he invents the flux capacitor. Second act, obviously the time heist itself.
Yes.
Which, in and of itself, I found extremely entertaining.
Big time.
And some people maybe thought that was a little bit slow, but I found it highly entertaining. It's basically like a greatest hits montage of past Marvel films. Followed up with, of course, the third act is where the huge chunk of action, the most epic battle that's ever been put to film, essentially.
Pretty much, yes.
So, you know, they balance it out in a way where I think it works, in spite of its length.
Before we talk about the finale, which is the best part of the movie, I want to get off my chest these major gripes that I have. 2 major gripes. The minor one, I don't know how I feel about Professor Hulk.
Okay.
But I'm pretty sure I don't like it. I'm pretty sure I don't like it. It was just weird seeing Hulk talking and having a conversation.
Okay, look.
I don't like it. And then he was such a wuss throughout the whole movie. He threw one punch. As far as I can see.
I don't think he threw a punch.
No, he did throw one during the big massive.
He threw a bench.
He threw a bench, but
he smashed the hood of the taxi
during the big massive battle at the end. I saw him punch one. Yeah, me too. Minion. That's it.
Okay, so we didn't get an epic Hulk smash scene in this final Avengers movie, which I'll accept that as a legitimate gripe.
And that's why I say it's a minor gripe. Let me tell you my major gripe. Oh my god. This pissed me off from this movie. This is the one thing that I walked out of the movie pissed off. And if anything ruined the movie, it didn't. It's a great movie. But if anything could have ruined it, it would have been this. Thor. Oh my god, dude. Thor started off
you mean
for
fat
me.
Thor.
Thor started off to me as the weakest of the Marvel characters. Right? Through Thor 1, he got a little better, in Thor 2, the Dark World.
Weakest in a character sense, not in
character-wise,
actual power sense.
Thor Ragnarok, I started to appreciate Thor a lot more. I liked him a lot in Thor Ragnarok. Like, oh snap, he's super powerful.
Thor Ragnarok,
he's like growing into his powers.
Yeah.
He realizes that he doesn't need his hammer in order to be a badass.
But he gets it back because, you know, it's
right.
badass.
It is badass. And then in Infinity War, super awesome. We get to see a slightly darker side of Thor. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh man, he has literally lost everyone.
Yeah.
And you feel for him, and then he comes in at the end all powerful and he's destroying Thanos' army. Awesome. I left Infinity War excited to see Thor again in Endgame. And what happened to the god of thunder? The god of tortas.
He put on some weight, bro. You know, look,
he has become a full torta.
First of all, don't body shame him. Okay.
He has become torta.
You should have gone for the head. What'd you do?
At the beginning, he's all fat. He's all like fatter than me. Just straight up blob. Big old titties. Disgusting. Okay. I after the scene with his mom, he gets to see him again. He felt like, all right, I'm going to go be Thor. I thought, all right, now we're gonna get a quick Rocky montage of him working out.
I thought the same, honestly.
Or when he finally summons the thunder and he's in full costume, I thought he was gonna be chiseled again.
Well, let me tell you this.
Nope. Torta, the whole movie. The entirety of the movie. He's running around in the final battle in a fat Thor suit. It's stupid. Seeing him running around fat, swinging a big hammer with his big old, like, man boobs flopping around and his big old belly.
Let me tell. Okay, look.
Pissed me off. I hated it. I hated what they have ruined Thor.
I understand why people would have these two gripes. Like, I get it. Okay, because we don't get classic Hulk in this movie. We don't get classic Thor in this movie. But
even a slight deviation of classic Thor
listen.
acceptable.
Let me tell you
a complete 180 of them.
Let me tell you why. I also view this as a natural progression of where... I'm not even joking. I view this as a natural progression of the Thor character where we saw him last. It makes perfect sense within the story. Because let's start off with what I was saying about Hulk being weak. I think both Hulk and Thor were both the weakest characters in the MCU, character-wise, before Thor Ragnarok. And in Thor Ragnarok, they're like, you know what? Let's put some life, some energy, some... gumption and some tenacity into these characters, okay? They're like, we're gonna give them something interesting. Thor Ragnarok did the impossible. What I thought was previously impossible, it made Thor cool. Because before Thor Ragnarok, Thor was kind of he was a lame-o. He was just Thor. He was kind of boring. And Thor Ragnarok injected life and personality into him. Okay? So starting from there, they're like, we need to switch things up with these characters, with Thor, with Hulk. So in Infinity War, they basically, that character, that new and improved version of Thor was carried over into Infinity War, but of course now a lot darker because Thanos basically destroyed his entire his people, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Destroyed all of them. And when he had the chance to prevent the snap, he missed his shot, basically. So he feels this enormous guilt from that. Like it is explained in the movie, right? He's basically gone into a major depression and he doesn't want to deal with those emotions. So it makes sense that he would, in the span of 5 years, that cloud would basically hang over his head. That feeling of guilt, right? It wouldn't leave. And I get wanting to drown out your emotions in that way. I understand, and I see it as a logical next step. As comedic as it was, and as silly as he looked,
of thunder.
And you know who else was a god? Odin, and that fool's still fat. In the end of the movie, when the big three, Cap, Iron Man, and Thor, are facing off against Thanos, it almost makes that moment, which should be very serious and awesome, it almost makes it slightly comedic every time that it cuts to Thor. The first time I saw it in the theater, I'm watching it, right? When Thor, I forgot what he says, but he's like, oh, yes, let's get ready for this. And he summons Mjolnir, and then the lightning strikes on him. And then all of a sudden the electricity just went and braided his beard into a perfect little braid, because, that's just how electricity works. But when that scene happened, and they start walking towards Thanos, every time it would cut to Thor, there was this lady in front of me who was busting up in laughter. Ruining any seriousness or intensity that the scene was supposed to have.
Let me tell you, that woman didn't ruin anything. Joe and Anthony Russo ruined everything.
Don't blame Joe and Anthony Russo, because the Russo brothers are fantastic.
They're
directors.
Fantastic, but let's make Thor obese.
He wasn't obese. He had a beer belly. That's all he had. He was still buff. He just had a beer belly. He was panzón. There's nothing wrong with that.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the great characters. Right. Most of the characters were great. I absolutely loved Tony Stark. And I could totally understand why he didn't want to help at the beginning. But how it was just a part of his character. Like, he had to do something.
Yeah.
I loved Captain America. They kind of brought back his cheerfulness and his optimism.
Yeah.
In this one. And I really loved how they reconciled their friendship towards it. Because he was kind of... Tony was like really pissed off at the Cap.
He was also kind of delirious. He had just spent like 3 weeks in space, minimal food, obviously dehydrated and whatnot. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's true. He was upset.
And what they did with Hawkeye was awesome. He became like this badass vigilante. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed seeing him and just the character development for him. Because he hasn't really gotten much character development.
But yeah, what they did with him... with him and Scarlet both, actually. I didn't realize that... And
they're rekindling, too, their friendship.
Yeah. I didn't realize how much, like, attachment you have towards those two characters. Pairing them two together was just a very emotional scene. And it kind of made me realize, oh, man, I actually do kind of care about these characters a little bit. You know?
And talking about them two specifically and caring about them, the first death of the film was Black Widow. And I saw it coming. As soon as those two were heading off to Vormir to get the Soul Stone, I was like, oh my god, Black Widow's dead. There's no way I knew there's no way they're gonna kill off Hawkeye because he lost his family and his goal is to see them again. Yeah. And they're not gonna do that to him.
Yeah.
And Black Widow, she has like nothing. She has no family anymore. She doesn't even know most of her past. She's just trying to like do good to like atone for her past sins. And like this was her moment to do it.
Right.
And it was a little emotional. I didn't like get super choked up or anything, but it was a little emotional and it was sad to see her go. But I appreciated the character up until that point. Like from her first appearance in Iron Man 2 and all throughout. Like I enjoyed her character. And I think this was a fitting way for her to go. Then we come to the meat. To the substance. The
action.
The final act of the film. Oh my god, what a final act. Both times that I've seen this movie, that final act, goosebumps. Yeah, almost throughout the whole thing.
It's fantastic.
And Thanos, he's such a badass, dude. He's so powerful. Had it not been for the stones, if it was just Thanos versus everyone, Thanos could probably single-handedly
still wipe the floor with everybody, basically. Like, can we talk about the best part?
Are we on the same page?
Or the best part of the film?
Are we on the same page?
Absolutely. When Thor smack talked that little kid that was Noob Master 69 at Fortnite, best part of the movie, dude. When meow meow, when Thanos was like, I'm about to shank you with your own axe, Thor, and then meow meow is like, and they cut to it, and it's just like.
It's like, oh, Thor's about to hammer his face in.
I knew exactly what was going to happen.
You knew what was going to happen?
I knew exactly what was going to happen.
I was caught off guard.
And I was, even though I knew it was happening, I was like, oh my god, no, are you serious right now? And I was just waiting for it. And then it cuts. Cap. I exploded.
The whole audience erupted.
I exploded in my pants. I'm just kidding. The best scene in the movie, period.
Dude.
The best scene in the movie, period.
Is hammering and lightninging and punching and shielding Thanos. And
He's
Thanos
comboing. He's comboing. Shield into Thor, into Mjolnir into Shield. Just the best combo you've ever seen in your life.
A thrashing in that scene.
Okay, so from that scene, it's giddy delight to. Then Thanos quickly turns it around with he pulls a Luke Skywalker on Darth Vader in Return of the Jedi when he's like
to his shield
at the end. I'm like, it goes from like supreme excitement to stop, please no, don't kill him this way. Like it's too graphics, too brutal. Calm down, please. The roller coaster of emotions that was the final battle. Like I had a huge smile on my face the entire time and like tears on the. Just like waiting, like if I blinked, they would come down. I was just like,
and it's Thor's thrown on the floor somewhere over here, and Iron Man's thrown on the floor somewhere over here, and it's just Cap standing there by himself against the giant army.
Epic.
And then he hears the Falcon. I was like, oh Lord, they coming. And then in comes Doctor Strange. The portals open, and then out comes Black Panther, and then out comes the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Doctor Strange and Spider-Man come swinging in, and everyone's just pouring in, and I'm like, it's about to go down. It's about to go down.
Yeah, no, it was just cray.
Then the epic battle was probably one of the best battles that I've seen in any movie. Of epic final battles, this was probably hands down like the top 3. And I think it wrapped up the story of the original 6 Avengers nicely.
Yeah. It gives them great closure, all of them. It
does. Black Widow, what a way to go. She helped save the universe. I don't really know what happens to Professor Hulk. It's not really explained that much, but I assume that he, recovers from his arm or whatever.
He survives, he's... From
snapping back everyone.
Yeah.
Hawkeye finally gets to see his family again and live in peace. And let's talk a little bit about the main 2 guys. The main 2 guys, the 2 faces, the 2 different sides of the same coin.
Thor's friends that are playing Fortnite. The what's his name? The rock guy and the cockroach dude. The two most important characters in the MCU.
I don't like the way they closed Thor's story. Now he's a Guardian of the Galaxy and he's gonna stay fat.
No, here's the thing.
He's like, it's time for me to be who I want and not who I'm meant to be. You want to be a fat slob and not the God of Thunder?
No, look, I guarantee you as Guardians of the Galaxy 3, he's gonna have gotten in shape.
The stories that I thought concluded well, the two best conclusions. Let's start with Iron Man. Oh my God. Okay, so Iron Man dies.
Spoilers!
He gives his life to save the galaxy.
The universe.
The universe. And I thought it was fitting that the man who started it all back in 2008 with Iron Man is the one who saves the galaxy, the universe.
Yep. Beautiful.
When he reunites with Spider-Man and you could just see the happiness in his face, like the kid is back, my eyes got watery. When he is being told by Pepper Potts, we'll be fine, like you can finally rest now. Tears. I blinked and tears came out.
Yeah, it's like
that was a very what an emotional roller coaster this movie was.
For real. You know, I will say I love the way they wrapped up his storyline. You know, obviously he's the one who rights the wrongs of the past, right? I just wish they would have given him a few more moments in the movie, in the final fight. I felt like this movie, this final fight was like Cap's moment.
Yeah,
it was Cap's moment. Infinity War was Iron Man's moment against on Titan against Thanos. This movie was like Cap's moment against him.
Yeah, and
so I get that, but I would have loved to see just a little bit more of Iron Man.
So that's how Iron Man wraps up. Super emotional. The funeral scene, you get to see everyone. Apparently, there was like this kid, just like this teenage dude standing in the background. And I was asking myself, who the hell is this teenager? I had to look it up. I looked into it. It was the boy who helped him like recover from Iron Man 3.
From the highly underrated Iron Man 3. I agree. Yes, you're correct.
And Captain's storyline, the way it wrapped up, I actually really liked it. I liked that he was like, you know what? I'm done with this fight. The planet is saved. We're in great hands with these new people.
Yeah.
I'm going to go live my life now. So he goes back in time. He lives out his life with Peggy, which I thought was pretty awesome. And seeing the final scene of them dancing, like, he finally got his dance.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It really was.
So all in all, what did you think of Avengers Endgame?
I loved it. I really did.
I thought this movie was great. It was, despite my little complaints here and there, I thought the movie was great. I would see it again.
We've already seen it twice. Probably gonna watch it a third time.
I'll throw my money at Disney for a third time. And it's something I will I'm kind of picky when buying movies.
Yeah.
Like if I were to buy every movie I like, this whole shelf would be just movies.
Yeah.
But this is one I definitely buy on Blu-ray. Completely recommend it. Don't watch it if you have not seen all 21 of the previous movies. You gotta appreciate it fully.
I wouldn't say that. People can watch it.
Don't watch it. Just don't watch it at all.
What a ride. What a ride they've taken us on. What
an emotional roller coaster. Fantastic movie. If you have not seen it, why did you watch this spoiler review?
For real. Maybe you just love spoiling things for yourself. Some people do that. That's fine.
So guys, did you guys like Avengers Endgame? You better. Or else just unsubscribe.
Please don't unsubscribe.
Don't unsubscribe.
We don't have that.
Let us know in the comments what you guys thought of Avengers Endgame. You know what? This is a spoiler review. Write down spoilers. Tell us your favorite parts of the movie. Tell us if you agree with the horror that was Fat Thor. Don't forget
the Thorer.
The Thorer. That was Torta.
Oh my God.
Don't forget to follow us on social media. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, here on YouTube. All of the above. Make sure to follow us and check us out. So thanks again for watching our review. We really appreciate you all. And we'll see you guys in the next one. What are you doing? I don't feel so good.